Hello guys, welcome back. Here with another video. It's almost Christmas time, so Merry Christmas first if you celebrate. But so again, this is going to be a guide aimed at someone who has some experience, like basic experience with Call of War, more an intermediate guide. Like I said, you played a couple rounds, but you really don't know a whole lot yet. So I made one on naval units, so you can check that video out first. But this one is going to be on air units. And as I was mentioning before, I'm not an expert by any means. You know, I'll beat people in games, but as you can see, what level am I? I don't know. But, you know, I've played my share of rounds. And the one thing we appreciate about Call of War is, and this is what you know as you've played a few rounds, it is pretty simple, right? The interface is pretty simple and whatnot, but there actually is some depth to it. And we're going to look at that today. So I'm fighting Germany right now, and I've got a couple units here. I don't have a lot of planes. This round, I've really focused a lot on naval units, so the majority of my planes are just naval bombers. But I'm going to go through each air unit and tell you about its strengths and weakness. So let's start with probably the most. All right, let's just start with an interceptor. So what is an interceptor good for, right? So it's not a very strong unit. Let's see, but its strength is air-to-air fighting. So it's good for fighting other airplanes. But if you look, it's pretty weak to everything else. Yeah, so a lot of it just comes down to knowing the strengths and weaknesses of each unit, right? So that's one. Then we got a naval bomber. Obviously, you know by the title, it's strong to naval units. Basically, the weakness of pretty much every air unit is going to be anti-air, and then for every non-interceptor, a weakness is going to be an interceptor. So we got good for ships, submarines. And you notice it's not really strong to other things, right? So it's really good for ships, but that's pretty much it. But then you'll want to watch out for cruisers. And then, let's see. So I got a strategic bomber here. This is good for buildings, destroying fortifications. But these are really weak to interceptors, more so than others. It actually doesn't look that bad, but this is level 3. Now, one difference between this and some of the other units is a strategic bomber cannot use a aircraft carrier. So its strength is, like I was saying, really good for, like, if you've got fortifications or the enemy has fortifications and you want to knock those down so you can hit them, really good for that. Bunkers, that sort of thing. But again, you know, it'll get beat up by anything, any unit. And then, like I said, interceptors are really dangerous for it. So, and then we got, I got an attack. No. One good thing about air also too is it really kind of expands your army. You know, you can get places a lot quicker. You can get help to a lot more areas. So it really extends your army. And like I was saying, you know, if you've got, for example, a lot of tanks, you build a lot of attack bombers. That could really help you out because then you cancel out your enemy's armor and then you bring in your armor. So then we have attack bombers. Let's see. Let's look at them. they're really good for. See, you have it here, anti-heavy armor. So it's really good, not pretty good for light armor too. But heavy armor, which if you don't have armor or to counteract them or anti-tank guns, these are really important. Actually, not bad to a ship. 9.5 to a ship. So, and then last one we have is tactical bombers. Tactical bombers, I don't know if they're really worth it. I think they're probably the least useful ones, honestly. Because, land units are generally pretty cheap. And if you have some armor, typically land units, unarmored units are not really much of a problem. I think one really good use for a tactical bomber is an anti-tank gun. Because think about it, how else do you destroy them with but yeah, an anti-tank gun. I was going to say anti-tank guns are weak to, infantry, unarmored units. So, tactical bomber is good for that. But anti-unarmored, but let's look. Decent to light armor. Everything else, pretty useless. And then, so then we know everything but a strategic bomber can use an aircraft carrier. And one thing about aircraft carriers and why I like them is if you have a decent Navy and you have a decent Air Force, an aircraft carrier is really an airstrip that you can put anywhere. And again, if you have a decent Navy, so they kind of work together, right? If you have a decent Navy, they really don't have a good way to get to your aircraft carrier. For example, if you have a land airstrip, they can bomb it, they can send units at it, but if they don't have a decent Navy, which a lot of people slack on the Navy, they can't get to your aircraft carrier. And then what I've done in the past too, like, one of my, letting some secrets out here, is I'll kind of like, for example, maybe I want to attack Spain, right? And I don't have an alliance with Germany, whatever. I might slide this, so then we can see, here's the range on this bomb, right? I might slide this aircraft carrier here, then another aircraft carrier down here. Boom, now I can hit Madrid or whatever. So it really gets interesting, and it really opens up a lot of doors, and it can really make you dangerous, because aircraft carriers are pretty weak, they're pretty useless, but then you start lining them up, now you can hit anywhere with your planes. So they really kind of work together. And that's why that really tells you why you need a good balanced military, not just units in each branch, but also you need a balanced branches too. So that kind of breaks down, the depth of the game. But yeah, so I think I kind of covered everything I wanted to cover. As you can see, this game's pretty much over. I'm going to end it here in a minute, but yeah, fighting Germany. It was a good round. Oh, and then we got one more aircraft, and that's no, we had two. Rocket fighters, which, not really sure what they do. They look like an improved interceptor. I've never used them. I've never went up against anyone that used them. I'll tell you, I've had a decent Air Force and gotten wrecked by interceptors in the past. So now I keep a few of them. But the one thing about interceptors, and again, every unit is different. They have a really short range. So they're really they're really more defensive than offensive because you can't really go far with them. And if you notice, each unit not only does it have a strength and a weakness, but it's different attacking and defending. So you really want to look at these cards. You know, nuclear bombers, you can nuke people with them, but I've never researched them. I've never used them because I found the rockets are a lot stronger, and I think the bombers can be shot down. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, can be shot down by anti-air. A rocket can't. So let's see. Does the bomb get stronger as you level it up? Yeah, they're kind of a weaker nuclear rocket. Oh, and then one more thing. See, because I used a ton of nuclear rockets in this round, especially when I was fighting USA. I think I nuked every city he had. I probably dropped 12 or so, and then I put 3 on Germany already. But they're also very expensive to build, a lot of resources. But they're really good for just, it will wipe out all the buildings in that one city, all the units, and it's hard for them to recover that city. And you can't shoot it down. So it really, if they don't have their own nukes to launch at you, which a lot of people don't research nukes. So then strategic bomber, and I've had trouble with them in the past. They're very weak if you have interceptors, which is why interceptors are important. But I've had a round where a guy had a 5 stack of the most developed strategic bombers, and he was just destroying me, and I couldn't do anything about it. He had a city or two that he picked, and he just destroyed them. But their range, look at that, 2,100 miles. So you can, if I had them fully leveled up, you know, I could probably go to Newfoundland and then over here. But they can go really far. Like, they can almost go from Spain to USA. But so then, like, look at this map again with the aircraft carriers. Like, if I want to attack, I know I've done Sweden to UK, and they never see it coming, which is a cool thing too. So I built, what I did one time is at Sweden, I invaded Denmark, and then I built an airstrip here. And then what I did was I lined up a bunch of carriers, and then boom, I started bombing him all over. And he never saw it coming, he was never prepared. And I would just fly from carrier to carrier to carrier, and boom, boom, destroyed it. Because UK is really, again, UK is, or any island is really good example of why you want a good balanced Navy and Air Force in addition to your land units. Is if you have a good Navy and Air Force, an island is really hard to get to. But if you don't, if you have a weak Navy and Air Force, you'll fold real quick. But I hope I provided some insight to you guys of the game. I hope I didn't talk too long. I probably did a little bit, but I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. And this round is about to end. I'm literally gonna hit the retire button as I finish this video, and I'll make a short about it, show how I did. We won this round. It was a really good round. It had a few suspenseful moments. UK, he was AI when I attacked, or when he attacked me, when he declared war on me. He was already AI, so it wasn't too bad fighting him. It was mostly just going across the ocean. But USA was pretty interesting. It was a good battle, for sure. Germany, you know, I'm not going to have time to knock him down, but I could get him handily. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching. Happy holidays if you don't celebrate Merry Christmas.